The worst pain I have ever experienced in my life was the loss of my child.
Child loss. After I lost my 20-year-old son, Kyle, in 2018, the pain is just horrific. It's daily, and the first couple of years, the physical pain is outrageous. It's the literally from the top of my head, the just where my hair grows hurt all the way to my toenails. Physical pain, spiritual pain, heartbreaking pain, just sheer agony, constant fright of where's my child, you know, just, I think that is the worst type of pain anyone can suffer, definitely.
What's the worst type of pain? I think this is variable based on the person. So I'll answer it not from a general perspective, but from my own perspective. I have a harder time coping with emotional pain than I do physical pain. I just do. Physical pain is the limitations of my body or damage to my body. And for some reason, I can work through that easier than I can emotional trauma. And I don't even put death of loved ones and family members into that emotional trauma for me, because I've dealt with death so much in my life. It doesn't give me the same type of grief and pain other emotional pains do. So for me, it's emotional.
The worst type of pain is withdrawing off heroin and fentanyl or Percocets. I have never known a pain so horrible in my life. It is a nightmare I just want to wake up from. I want to beat this addiction more than anything in my life. I never imagined myself hooked to fentanyl and heroin. I put it up my nose. Thank God I'm not hooked on needles, but it's still the simple point that I'm hooked on it at all. I never imagined myself to be on this.
Hi, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me this chance to share my opinion. I think one of the worst pain is the feeling of rejection. Rejection your studies, rejections your negative feelings, and people's rejections of you. And I believe the solution to all of this is to accept the rejections of everything I said before. And thank you.
The pain of emotional betrayal, especially coming from someone that you hold so dear, can indeed cut you very deep. It's a complex and often devastating experience that can lead to a myriad of emotions such as sadness, anger, confusion, and self-doubt. The idea of love is intertwined with trust, vulnerability, and a sense of safety. And when those bonds are broken, the emotional fallout can be severe. The journey of healing from such emotional wounds can be a long and arduous one. It often requires a process of grieving, self-reflection, and the rebuilding of one's self-esteem and trust in others. The support of a loving community, be it friends, family, or a spiritual fellowship, can be invaluable during such times. Moreover, engaging in self-compassion, seeking professional support if needed, and gradually building new healthy relationships can contribute to the healing process. God bless.
The worst pain I have ever experienced in my life was the loss of my child, followed closely by the loss of my father, followed closely by watching my child battle necrotizing pneumonia. I'm in physical pain all the time. Those three things trump the physical pain by far. It's a kind of pain that just shouldn't exist. Losing a child shouldn't happen. Losing a parent when you're young shouldn't happen. And watching your child suffer shouldn't happen.
What is the worst type of pain? Emotional. Physical one, we know now that it's a messenger of the mind. So with the physical one, we can work, we can look at a source of it, and we can release it. Oh, I know that many people would not agree with me, but it's actually what's the reality behind. I did it on myself, I did it with many other people. But emotional pain is that reason behind, and that can be torturing if we not really look at that. It can stop people from being themselves. It can absolutely destroy their lives. And the most is in with the children. They can feel so much emotional pain when they are witnessing violence, or they are part of the violence, or they are faced fear. So emotional pain, it's the worst.
The worst type of pain. I have experienced broken ribs, fractured wrists, spinal fractures. I've broken both of my legs, and I have one of them that's been amputated. I've had to learn to walk again. But nothing beats the pain of losing someone that you love, someone that you've cared for, someone that has cared for you and that has loved you. And you know that they can't heal like a broken bone, and that they can't be replaced, and that no one can replace them.
I would say the worst type of pain would be heartache. It's almost like a physical pain that you can feel if the heartache or heartbreak is deep enough. It can be weeks, months, years to get over that heartache, especially an abandonment feeling. I believe many of us struggle from that anxiety and PTSD of a heartache, and it's very hard to get through.
Two type of pains, to me, they go hand in hand, kind of like they feel kind of the same, is grief. When somebody die, like real grief, like crying to the point that you're not even making a sound or whimper. There's nothing coming out, but you're crying. But like deep grief and deep loss. And I feel like also not having a support team in your life, or people that there for you for real, not like this authentic, not synthetic. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have that, it almost feel the same way as losing somebody.
What is the worst type of pain? For me, the worst type of pain is when you've been friends with someone for many years. You've done everything together. You've literally gone through thick and thin. And you've always been there for each other. You told each other all your secrets. You've never been against each other. Until one day, for whatever reason, everything just comes crashing down. And you don't understand why. it hurts like a knife being stabbed into your chest and come out the other side. And it's pretty hard to put your head around it.
Grief is the worst type of pain. Grieving the loss of a loved one, even grieving the loss of your identity, grieving the loss even of an opportunity that could have changed your life. But honestly, when it comes to grief, I think the worst type of grief is losing a child or losing a parent, losing a spouse. I've had a lot of physical pain in my life, but nothing compares to that internal emotional turmoil that one goes through, thinking that this is my life forever now. I'm always going to feel this way, and finding our way out of it. And I just hate it when somebody says time is going to heal all wounds. Shut up.
What's the worst type of pain? Well, let's not talk about physical pain here, let's talk about emotional pain. The worst type of emotional pain is the one to which you attach the most meaning. For instance, let's take an example of loss. There is a sadness that this person walked out of your life or maybe passed away. But what does it mean to you? Does it mean that you are worthless without this person? Does it mean that you're not enough? Does it mean that you can't live your life without this person? Do these additional meanings create additional pain that make the existing pain even worse?
What is the worst type of pain? I think the worst type of pain is the type of pain that you just can't really get over quickly. And I'm talking about that mental and emotional pain. When you talk about loss, whether it be a loss of a loved one, loss of love, those are types of pain that take a lot more to actually heal you. If you fall and scrape your knee, or if you break an arm, there's going to be pain initially, but with some medication and a little bit of time, it's much easier to get over that type of pain. But when you have pain of the heart, that takes a bit more to actually get over. It's a bit more draining, and it's with you constantly. It affects so much more from the perspective of what you're able to do and what you're able to, get by with. So I'd have to say that type of pain.
Emotional and mental pain and spiritual and psychological pain are so much worse, in my opinion, than physical pain. I'm heavily tattooed, and I can sit forever and it, doesn't bother me. It heals. But I am a survivor of domestic violence, and I'm going to tell you right now that that kind of pain can last a lifetime. And it is very hard to get yourself out of that thinking that you're nothing, that everything's your fault, that, without them, nobody would want you. Etc., you're worthless, you can't do anything right. Those kind of things. Words are spells, and they have the power to do a lot of damage to people.
Great question. What's the worst type of pain? I would have to go with emotional and psychological pain for several reasons. Physical pain, you can take a pain medication. It's going to at least dull it, take it away, those kind of things. And there's scans you can do. You can try to find the problem much more quickly. When we're talking about emotional pain, because it's not something that we see, and it's not even something that a lot of times people will accept. But if you're wearing a cast, they're like, yeah, you've got some pain going on. When we have that emotional pain, it might even be harder to get the support that we need. It's also one of those things that I call the peekaboo. It comes and it goes. And so you kind of have a sense of feeling out of control because you don't know where it's coming from or what's causing it. And I think to get to that process takes so much longer. You can take a substance and take it away, but then now you've created another problem. So I think that's why for me, emotional pain is the worst kind, because it is harder to treat, it's harder to detect, and it's harder to be aware of.
Thanks for watching.